What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here, talking combat sports. I'm back to this Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury issue again, primarily because, again, Dontaes Boxing Nation, he stay on top of things. He's actually stating what I suggested a few days back, right after the fight, about Deontay Wilder being drugged, or to that degree, to that effect, that he was actually drugged or on drugs or something to that effect. He just looked like a shell of himself, or lethargic, that sort of thing. But I think Dontaes Boxing Nation, again, shout out to Dontaes Boxing Nation, always on top of things. The problem with that is Dante is actually suggesting that he was drugged because he was showing footage that Tyson Fury was declining water, asking for the source, and declining drinking water, bottled water, while doing some of the press conferences leading up. But I'm under the impression that I can't blame Tyson Fury's camp or anybody else to suggest that Deontay Wilder was actually drugged by the contending camp. I don't believe that. I think boxing is corrupt to a point where I think Deontay Wilder was under the influence of some sort of sedative to make the fight that much more competitive, because it's clear because Tyson Fury is not the most defensive fighter and defensive savvy fighter. And I think they know that it only takes one shot from Deontay Wilder to actually make the fight, to end the fight. Essentially, the fight will be ended because Tyson Fury can't take a shot. He's been down by lesser boxers. So my thing is, I think Deontay Wilder took a dive. He took a dive. He took a sedative to make himself look. He just looked out of it to even the odds, so to speak, and was a shell of himself and got knocked around. And not only the third fight he did that, the second fight he did it. But I think that's why there was so much controversy surrounding it, with the gloves and all of that sort of thing. But Deontay Wilder looked like a shell of himself. He looked spent, beat again in the second and the third fight. So I don't agree with Dontaes Boxing Nation, nor do I agree with some other outlets who actually suggested that Tyson Fury drugged him this time around. I don't believe so. I think this was self-induced. I think he did this to take a dive, and it will be a bit more of an exciting fight because, of course, his reflexes were down. He got tired very quickly, and he just got tossed around like a rag doll. A lot of these shots weren't even real hard shots. Towards the end, they were, because he was wide open. He was so under the influence that he just couldn't even defend himself. But it took Tyson Fury it took him 11 rounds to really get him out of there, which is telling. So it's just amazing how we still don't get the truth, because boxing is such a corrupt sport at this stage. And now they're suggesting that Deontay's going to fight again and all of this sort of thing. And I'll bet $1 million that Deontay Wilder will be a different animal when it comes to his next fight. He's going to be full of energy. He's going to be very responsive, and he's going to be throwing those haymakers and put whoever's in front of him away. But at this stage, I think it was more beneficial to boxing to have a Great White Hope, or somebody that could carry boxing ahead internationally to generate more revenue and more fans to the sport, because you have a charismatic individual like Tyson Fury leading the charge. He's just a more he's sellable. He sells controversy. He sells himself. Like I said, he's just an entertainer, so to speak. So it's like a WWE. You want to put the head of your sport to be a charismatic guy, and that's what Tyson Fury is. So again, shout out to Dontaes Boxing Nation. I just disagree. I don't think it was any kind of corruption from Tyson Fury's camp. I believe that was self-induced, a sedative that Deontay Wilder took to make the fight more entertaining, and essentially give Tyson Fury an easy win. I apologize for sweating, but I'm in the gym in the sauna, trying to get some of these toxins out. But anyway, like, subscribe, all of that jazz, and we'll be in touch. DJ Kryptonite out. Have a blessed evening. Deuces.